Hello and welcome to this beautiful segment of Daybreak Africa, where we ask questions to seek individual opinion on a particular subject matter. I am Bidemi Moses, and today we'll be looking at the situation of fuel scarcity in Nigeria, and we'll be discussing fuel subsidy. We want to look at the genesis and the challenges we are having in Nigeria concerning fuel subsidy. And my guest for today is a two-time Federal House of Rep member. He was once the General Secretary of NUPENG, and also is their life patron of NUPENG. I have Honorable Doctor, let me add comrade to it, Joseph Adelaja. Daddy, it's nice having you on the show this morning.
Thank you very much. God bless you. I'm happy being with you.
Amen. Daddy, we don't want to waste any time today. Let us start with letting our people know what fuel subsidy is.
Fuel subsidy is the additional money or fund that government uses to subsidize the actual costs of petroleum products in Nigeria, especially premium motor spirit, PMS, which they call petrol. If the cost is supposed to be X naira, and it is not affordable to the people, then government will ask the people to pay X minus Y naira, why government now put the Y, in order to subsidize or cushion the effects of what the actual price ought to be. And what is the actual price? The actual price is cost of production plus cost of freight plus profit.
Okay.
That is what the actual price is supposed to be.
All right. Well, then let us talk about the genesis of fuel subsidy. How does it come about?
At the beginning of a consumption of fuel in Nigeria, as far back as history, or as my memory can carry me, in the 1950s, there was nothing like fuel subsidy, because at that time there are less vehicular population, there is less human population compared with about 30 years ago. And so people pay the cost of fuel. At that time, most of the fuel we use is produced in Nigeria from Port Harcourt refinery, an Anglo-Dutch company called British Petroleum, and that established the Port Harcourt Refinery Company, in the 50s, in 1956. So what they produced was enough for us to consume. So nothing like fuel subsidy. But as we grew in vehicular and human population, we started establishing more refineries, like the Warri Refinery, WRPC, like the Kaduna Refinery, KRPC, and the second Port Harcourt Refinery, which add up to 4 refineries in Nigeria. So the production at the beginning was sufficient for us. Even we were exporting, the product of these 4 refineries. That was in the early 80s. But as we go along, population increase, vehicle increase, and then the production from the 4 refinery become inadequate. When it becomes inadequate, we have to subsidize supply from importation of petroleum products. And when that happens, 2 key factors come to play. One, cost of refined products offshore in Rotterdam or in countries from where these products are imported, and cost of freight, which is now a function of foreign currency, the dollar, over which we have no control, vis-a-vis our local currency, the naira. So the cost of production there and the exchange rates become the main issue that control the price of the imported product. Okay. At that point, Nigerians started agitating that government should subsidize the cost, the cost at the pump head, okay, at the filling station. And the agitation led to government accepting the policy of subsidy, and they started subsidizing depending on the government in power, the rate at which, the level, at which they can subsidize the product. All the product at the beginning, but later, diesel, AGO, automotive gas or AGO, was deregulated. Kerosene was deregulated. So leaving PMS, petrol, that is consumed widely. It has wider consumption than the other two white products. We call them white products, but okay, all the three product, PMS, AGO, and HHK.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And now, since none of our past governments have been able to at least put fuel subsidy into place or make it work, IMF has been advising Nigeria and also the World Bank that we have to follow, we have to implement fuel subsidy removal. And now, how do you think we can go about it if there is increase in the amount we purchase fuel now? Do you think an average Nigerian can survive, considering how much the cost of products in the market and around we grow faster?
Well, I must say that fail to plan is plan to fail. Subsequent governments have been paying lip service to production and supply of this product. What do I mean? The first refinery was established in 1956 in Paracourt, and the last one was 1981, a period of 16 years. We had 4 refineries. From 1981 until today, apart from the Dangote refinery that we are talking about now, and individual states and individuals that are, trying their hand on modular refineries, we have never added one refinery. If you take 1981 from year 2003, that's over 30 years. Yet we are growing in vehicular and human population. That's why I put the word fail to plan is plan to fail. Imagine if we have about 8 or 10 refineries, we will have, and we have crude oil here, we will have been able to produce sufficient fuel for local consumption. And then if we are going to subsidize that, so the level of subsidy will be minimal. But because we're producing, and we have only 4 refineries, that the turnaround maintenance has been wishy-washy. And therefore, a typical turnaround maintenance of refinery should be once in 2 years. But sometimes we will run it for 12 years without turnaround maintenance, 10 years without turnaround maintenance. It's like you using your vehicle that says every 5,000 kilometers you are supposed to service your vehicle, and you refuse to service it for 3-4 years, and you are using it constantly. When you open it up at the 40th year, the damage that will be done will be colossal than when you maintain. So that's the story of our refinery. So anytime they now decide to do turnaround maintenance, apart from the fact that at the beginning, Nigerian engineers were trained by those who came, Schroeder, that came to establish those refineries. Nice. And they were carrying out regular turnaround maintenance, 83, 85. The politics came into it. They started awarding contracts. The turnaround maintenance became subject of contract. And you know what contract is in Nigeria. So the refineries broke down almost irretrievably. And by the time they now decide to repair it, it's always breaking down. So much so that an average of production is maybe 30%, 40, 20, 10, maybe 30%. Even though the 445,000 barrels per day expected to be refined, they may not be able to refine more than 50,000 barrels. And if they do that, you know, that will be inadequate, you know, insufficient. They will now have to import the shortfall. So we are now subsidizing import. I don't understand. And this import has two elements. We're going to ship the crude oil offshore. It's going to be refined there. So there's cost of shipping it off, so this is freight. There's cost of bringing it back, which is freight. That is in the cost element. That now bring the price to a level that they have to subsidize more than ordinary. Talking about IMF or the Bretton Woods institutions, their recommendation that we should not subsidize consumption. That in those countries where they carry out subsidy, most countries, developed countries, subsidize some products, but it's production. For example, in America, they subsidize agriculture. Why? Because they want to keep the farmers in the farm. Okay? They establish commodity farms. They go and buy the products. Imagine in Nigeria, let me take Nigeria for example. You plant tomato. You know, have a lot of tomato in your farm, and you can't move it to consumption place. But in those countries, they go and buy all the tomatoes and turn it to tomato puree somewhere. So the farmers will have money to continue next year. But here, the thing will rotting. No good roads, no help coming from anybody, anywhere. So those people, they subsidize production. But so IMF is against subsidizing consumption. This fuel is consumption. Yes. Okay? So they say don't subsidize consumption. If you are going to subsidize production. So that's the Bretton Woods recommendation. They have advised Nigerian government many times. Nigerian government have put it because of our local condition. Nigerians have believed that the only God-given commodity is this crude oil, which is in the bowel of the earth upon which God created us. Therefore, we should benefit from it. And that the way to benefit from it is to have fuel at affordable price and in the best quality at the pump head, which is the filling station. So that is the history of subsidy. At the beginning, there was no subsidy. At the beginning, we were producing enough, we were even exporting PMS to West African countries. But at the point that production became inadequate and we have to import, Nigerians reacted against the price and government brought the idea of subsidy. That was how it came about.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me quickly take your reaction in less than 3 minutes on this one. Do you believe in rehabilitation of our refineries, or you are of the opinion that we create a new refinery?
No, I believe in rehabilitation of the refinery. The question is who will do it. Let me tell you one thing. In 1956, the Anglo-Dutch company I mentioned before,
Yes.
British Petroleum, established two refineries. One in Port Harcourt, because they were our colonial master. Yes. One in Port Harcourt and one in Tema, in Ghana. Okay. Okay? Some 15 years ago, I was in Ghana. I went to Tema Loop. It was still producing 95%. Oh. Ghana, the same year, 1956. That they were our colonial master of Ghana, colonial master of Nigeria. Yeah. They established the refinery the same year in 1956. The other one is working. Our own has broken down more than 40 years ago. So I believe that there are some refineries in Europe that's over 150 years. There are some that can be 200 years. It's a question of maintenance. So we are, if we decide to make it work, it will work. But corruption has made this thing not to work. And because nobody is punished for wrongdoing, it is what you call laissez-faire approach to maintenance that are brought into the state it is. That now say, let's scrap it and privatize it or sell it. Then the unions there is always against privatization. They will take one step forward and two backwards. Till now, it is still a vicious circle. So that's my answer to that question.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
All right, we've heard it all from Daddy, and he has explained to us how we can survive in this country that is imbibed with many corruption. I am Bidemi Moses. Until some other time that I will be coming your way once again, I'm staying. Please stay safe, and don't forget, it is 2023. Choose the right leader.